2014 came and went, and with that comes a batch of new games. Some games were the big successes they were hyped to be, others disappointed on their original promises, and some came out of left field to stun the masses. So sit back, relax, and quiet your young. This is Morningstar Studios' Top 10 Games of 2014. Before we begin, let's look at the criteria. The game must have been given its full release between January 1st and December 31st, 2014. The game had to have been played by one of our staff members. If it's not on the list, chances are we haven't played it. Check the description for titles that missed our countdown. Remakes and freeware are allowed on this list, however, early access titles and ports without gameplay updates are not. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 10, Towerfall Ascension. This game almost didn't make our list, as Towerfall was released on the Ouya in 2013, but we felt Towerfall Ascension differed enough in its gameplay to count on this list. Made by a one-man team, Towerfall Ascension is a challenging arena archery game with good visuals, good design, and compelling and difficult gameplay. This, coupled with an outstanding score and plenty of battle modifications, make for a fun indie title that you can play by yourself or with a couple of friends on the couch. Number 9, Transistor. Transistor is one of the most aesthetically pleasing games of the year, with interesting paint-like visuals and a smooth soundtrack. The gameplay is unique, allowing the player to complete their actions in real time, or enter a strategic trajectory mode to plan their movements. It also has a great story that results in some of our staffers getting a little misty-eyed. From the creators of Bastion, Supergiant have created yet another masterpiece in gaming. Number 8, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. The Lord of the Rings universe got a good treatment this year in Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. The game featured fun and challenging gameplay and had an interesting story. Our staff enjoyed the amount of ways one could complete a mission, and the variance in skills each captain had that really spiced up the gameplay. Highly anticipated, with a high return, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor did not disappoint. Number 7, Child of Light. Child of Light feels like a game that was ripped from an old-time storybook. A side project by Ubisoft, Child of Light sports stunning painted backgrounds and visuals and a dreamy Limbo-esque atmosphere. Its timing-based RPG mechanics were also a unique addition. If our staff's only complaint was that it wasn't long enough, you know you made something good. Number 6, Dragon Age Inquisition. Dragon Age Inquisitions shocked our staff, as it was one of our least anticipated games of this year. But where other AAA titles floundered, Dragon Age stood tall with a solid story, great cinematics, and breathtaking visuals. The game also featured the option to play as your party members, allowing for a use of strategic combos, and gave the player a lot of decision-making options. All of this, combined with a decent open-world experience, shows why many players and critics gave it the honor of Game of the Year. Number 5, Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Can't go wrong with the classics, and Pokemon did not disappoint. The remake of the original Game Boy Advance game put the game in 3D, and featured plenty of nostalgia-inducing homages throughout. The remake also included new mechanics, such as the potential to catch special Pokemon with advanced moves. Many of our staffers considered Ruby and Sapphire to be the best Pokemon game in the franchise, and this quality recreation assured that. Number 4, Diablo 3: Reaper of Souls. The standalone expansion released for Diablo 3 changed things up by removing the auction house and making drops easier to come by. However, it increased the difficulty tenfold. Reaper of Souls contains a lot of good standalone content, including the addition of adventure mode and the inclusion of boss rush-like rifts. While it plays similar to Diablo 3 and its story felt a little rehashed, our staff felt the changes made added to the overall immersion of the game, resulting in a well-executed experience. Number 3, Mario Kart 8. You can almost never go wrong with Mario Kart, but Mario Kart 8 is one of the best in the franchise. It is the first game to be presented in stunning HD, and the first to have downloadable content. The immense number of tracks, including many that were remade from previous games, dropped a huge nostalgia bomb on gamers, but its inclusion of anti-gravity and underwater racing added fresh flavor to the franchise. Though some criticized its battle mode, Mario Kart 8 was a great game and a console saver for the Wii U. Number 2, Hearthstone: Heroes of Warcraft. Who would think one of the best games of 2014 would be a free-to-play card game? Hearthstone features elements of other popular card games, but implements them in a way that is simple and easy to pick up. There's a large selection of cards to get, and even more after the release of the Goblins vs. Gnomes expansion. And its microtransactions are handled better than most other free-to-play titles. Fun, quick, addicting, polished, and with a good community behind it, Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft is one of the best card games we've ever played. Before we get to number 1, let's look at some honorable mentions. However, they all can't be winners. We have 2 dishonorable mentions as well, as we do not have enough entries to make a proper Worst Games of 2014 list. Watch Dogs was a huge disappointment, leaving our staff feeling bored, resulting in a basic Grand Theft Auto clone with a hacking mechanic. We were also disappointed in Trials Fusion, as it featured a lackluster multiplayer, and our staff felt there wasn't enough content for its price. But now, the moment you've been waiting for, our number 1 pick. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. Our favorite basement crawler is back in a revamped version of The Binding of Isaac, featuring a new engine, new enemies, new rooms, new music, new challenges, new characters, and a boatload of new items. Edmund McMillan and Nicholas have taken a great thing and made it better. The new graphics are no longer in Flash and are incredibly crisp and detailed. The music and level design are fantastic, and the roguelike gameplay of the original makes it a whole new game each time you play. We were also happy with its new multiplayer co-op mode and its PlayStation 4 port. It's quick to pick up and has excellent replay value, and that means we've sunk many hours into this game. Not only was this the highest average rated game for our staff, it was the most purchased game of our group. We highly recommend this game as our best game of 2014. What did you think of our list? Did we miss something you felt was list worthy? Let us know in the comments below. Hit us up with a subscription if you liked this video and want to see more countdowns and content. Until then, enjoy the games of 2014 as we look forward to the games of 2015.